is Way Up with Angela Yee. I'm here, and of course, it's a Wealth Wednesday, so my partner, Stacey Tisdale, is here.
Happy Wealth Wednesday, and it is a 10 on Wealth Wednesdays today. You know I had to say that.
Oh, my gosh.
Because we have the founder.
It's a 10.
I'm sorry, it's a 10. Because we have the founder and CEO of It's a 10 Haircare, and I think one of the first, if not the only, and certainly one of the few self-made Latina billionaires with creating a company that has over $1 billion valuation.
Yes, that's it.
Carolyn, Aronson in the house. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
And
I'm excited to be here.
And I was telling you, I use It's a 10 hair care products. And what I like about it is the spray, the leave-in, that I could just spray in my hair. And then you guys have developed that just an amazing line of products. I remember when it was just that.
That's right. So I started one bottle, and now over 10 million bottles a year sold of that one bottle. Just in the U.S.
That product.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Product.
Please talk to me, because this is always fascinating to me. And because I found out who you were later, and I'm going to tell you how. But when I first initially started using the product, I do care so much about who's behind the product. And so just talk to me about yourself and what made you even develop this one product that you initially started with.
As you started as a hairdresser, you were just 18 years old.
Yeah, I mean, I was 16 when I started. I've been a hairdresser for 41 years.
16.
I still have a license in 2 states because my mother pounded in my head, keep it, it's yours. No one can ever take it from you, and no one can take these hands away. So anything happens, I can always go back to hair, right?
I think you'll be fine.
Hey, you never know.
We think you're okay.
I've seen worse.
Yeah, we think you're going to be okay.
I've seen worse.
But there is that mentality when you come from where you come from and you make it, that you always are like, I got to be prepared in case this can all go away.
You got to make sure people can't, take from you what you really justly earn. So
well, look where you came from. You were taken into foster care at how old?
So I was in foster care from birth to 2 years old.
Birth to 2.
And then I was adopted at the age of 2.
By the Cleavers.
2.5. I say by the Cleavers. June and Ward, very American, Midwest. Actually, they were New Yorkers originally, but I was raised in the Midwest. And but really just super loving, devoted parents that were very white.
But what a blessing to have loving, devoted parents.
Oh, yeah. Amen. I mean, it really, obviously, it has a lot to do with who I am today. I always say my birth mother gave me life, but they showed me how to live life. And that's really, really important to have that influence. It really helped meld me, I think, to be this kind of hybrid person, this little bit of a crazy Latina with a little fine edge.
Did they tell you your story? Did you know that you were adopted? Is that something they discussed with you, or was that something they waited till way later in life?
That I always get asked that question. They never sat us down and said, hey, you're adopted. I was adopted with a biological brother. He was 4 at the time. And they had 2 of their own sons. So the family picture was a little obvious.
Okay.
And my brother had an afro and darker skin. And I'm definitely probably a little whiter as far as coloring. I could pass as multicultural. He definitely looked very Hispanic. So it was nothing they ever had to sit down and tell us that we were adopted. It was a part of our lives. They used to say, you're chosen. That's how they said it.
That's a beautiful way.
You've
That's
been
so
chosen.
sweet.
But they never really sat down and had to announce anything to us. It was very obvious.
You and I had an amazing conversation the other day.
Yeah.
And we were talking a little bit about my work in financial behavior and how those first lessons, those first impressions you get about money stay with you for the rest of your life and create these habits. And you were saying the first things they taught you were curiosity and financial literacy. Yeah. And they both seem to
I think the curiosity was in my bones. I remember getting my first birthday card with money in it at the age of 5. And it had a big 5 on the front with a cat. And I opened it up, and there was a $5 bill there. I was literally like, ooh, here I come. And I hid it, and I saved it. And I'm like, how can I get more? So that's just part of my mindset that I wanted to know how I could turn 5s into 10s, into 20s, into 50s, and so on. And that's who I am.
So they'd make you look things up when you wanted to figure something out.
And so, but as far as the literacy part, absolutely. I was 8 years old. My father took all 4 kids to the bank. We opened up bank accounts.
Nice. Wow.
They from day one, and I was the youngest of 3 boys. So it was 3 older boys and myself. I was the only girl and the youngest. And I think he used to want to make sure that I had the mindset that I could be equal to them.
Okay.
And so from day one, he treated me the same. I was one of the boys as far as how he educated me with finances, how he taught me how to be financially literate, how he taught me how to pay myself first. That was one of his terms. Pay yourself first.
That's a blessing.
And that does not mean go buy the shoes, because that's what we girls do.
Right.
It means put your money away, let it compound, take care of yourself, save for those rainy days, make sure you have insurance. You know, I was an independent contractor from day one. My 4 little foot square that I worked in every day, I was 1099. So I had to do my own taxes. I had to pay my own quarterlies. I had to get my own insurances. So I really, at a young age, learned how to be a business.
You know, they've said that they've done studies that kids, the earlier you open up a bank account, the better they'll be with money later on in life.
Oh, definitely.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's
and
true.
we had a whole conversation about that. I was telling one of my friends he should open up a bank account for his daughter. She's like 5 years old. But I
Yes.
was like, that would be a great idea. And I was like,
And
imagine.
you know what? Let her get the statements.
Right.
Let her see what compounding interest means. Let her see, like, even at a young age, like, I can remember writing in my little passport book. You know, that's how we used to do it back then. We literally had to do journal entries. Well, that led to me doing journal entries in my business at the age of, you know, when I was older. So when you kind of get that mindset of actually regulating and looking and processing the ins and outs.
What did your
it
parents
helps
do for a living? I'm just
So
curious.
my father actually was manager of labor relations for Ford Motor Company. He
Okay.
worked himself up from a clerk. So he was in the business world within Ford, but really started, you know, from nothing there. My mother was a Columbia University grad, very smart woman, but a stay-at-home mom.
Okay.
So, but she was, you know, she also taught me another edge. You know
Right.
what I mean? I had a little bit of everything because she was a smart woman and a very independent thinker, an environmentalist long before it was even popular to be environmentalist. You know, she had the other side. One was a Democrat, one was a Republican. So I got a little bit of both. You know, that's why I'm an independent. It's like you just take it all in, you take it all in, and you just take a little bit of everything, and you kind of become, you know, that. It's like the sauce of life, so to speak. You just pull it all in and become a very, you know, diversified person. I think my Haircare brand was diversified from day one because of how I was raised.
Right.
You know, how
I
I grew
also
up.
love that I hear in that. Actually, now you're in my wheelhouse. I call them childhood money scripts, those early lessons. And you remind me of a female CEO that I know who was also the only girl in a family of boys. And she said she's very comfortable sitting and advocating for herself at a boardroom at a table full of men. And you've told me that about you too.
Yes, and I get asked that question a lot by women. How do you feel when you're in a room full of men, or how do you get through it? What does your, you know, inner self tell you to maybe work through some of those moments? And truthfully, first of all, probably the way I was raised has a bit of my mindset. I played every sport. I was very competitive. You can't beat them, join them. I wanted the underwear with the hole in the front. You know, I literally like
no reason.
my parents got a little girl so I could wear frilly underwear, and I just blew their mind because I wanted to be like them, or at least equal to. Right?
Well, yeah, no, I agree with that. I mean, I just have one older brother, but they definitely raised me like I was just like him too. Other than the fact that I couldn't have company of the opposite sex and he could. Yeah. But other than that, yeah.
I get that.
But let's start talking about when you decided you wanted to become an entrepreneur. So you're a licensed cosmetologist as well.
Yes.
Which is important too, because there's a lot of people who do hair, but they may not necessarily be licensed.
That's right.
Why was that important for you?
You know, first of all, I think, like my mother said, be anything you want to be in life, but be the best you can be at it. So I think educating yourself in your field, getting better at it, honing it, and actually taking additional courses beyond just the basics is how you actually excel in what you love to do. And so that was really the mindset behind it. And, you know, it's funny because she was a Ivy League grad, and her friends were like, aren't you disappointed your daughter's going to beauty school? And she said, no, I'm not disappointed. I think she's going to do amazing at it.
I mean, look at it.
And so, yeah. And so rather than you know, belittling someone or receiving that negativity, you know, I had a parent who actually really said, you know what, go to beauty school, then get additional training. I went to Valdosta soon. Training school after. And then really from there, she said, go to college at night. If you because I knew I wanted to be a salon owner. She said, if you want to really excel in business, get some business background, and that's what I did. I never fully graduated. She actually wanted me to go back to college, even though after I had made it. She's like, come on, just finish that 4-year degree. I'm like, I think I'm good, Mom. But yeah, hard knocks life is my 4-year degree.
Where did you get that passion from, though, to want to know that you wanted to own a salon?
So I was in my blood. I was 8 years old and said I was going to be a hairdresser. I wavered. Actually, in high school, thought I was going to go to nursing, did that a little bit, then went back to hair. And that's good.
Right.
You know what? It's good to waver. It's good to feel things out. It's good to challenge your doubts and your questions and experience things. But then from there, I was probably 19, knew I wanted to own a salon. Mm-hmm. And it took me to 30 to do it.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, it took me to 30 to do it. But, I knew it was something I wanted to do.
So what was happening during that time between 19 and 30?
Oh, my goodness. Partying. I was in the beauty industry.
Okay.
We were,
fair enough.
Back then, it was out every night. No, it was a combination. It was a combination of things. Probably some immaturity, but also really just enjoying my craft.
Right.
Building and getting better at what I did. I wasn't born a good hairdresser. Some people are just artists from day one. Mm-hmm. I definitely had to be taught. I had to really hone my craft to be really good at it. And so, that had a lot to do with it, I think. And also, I was building my empire financially. I knew that when I wanted to own my own business, I had to do it myself. I didn't have wealthy parents that were going to set me up. Mm-hmm. I had a father who said, let's go to the library and figure out how to write a business plan, but that was pretty much it. So, yeah, and if I ever borrowed a penny from my parents, it was paid back with interest.
Right.
My father was really, really strict about teaching me how to actually, he says, use me as a bank, but you're going to pay the interest.
Did you negotiate interest rates, or was it
I did not. He told me, this is what I'm getting in my market share right now, and this is what you're going to pay me. And
That's
I did.
amazing.
Yeah, I did.
Do you think that has you created this business without taking on any debt?
Yes.
Or any investors,
Correct.
using your own money?
Yes.
Do you think that had a lot to do with that?
Absolutely. Because listen, the bottom line is, I don't care what kind of business you're in. If you borrow money, you have to pay it back. That's the reality of it. And what happens is, if you don't, is what, like during COVID, that's when we see massive companies falling.
Right.
Companies we never dreamed we'd ever see collapse, built on a horrible foundation, built on an illusion, so to speak. I call it an illusion.
Right.
A lot of times these companies are just so in debt, they're barely running profits. All they do is continue to acquire in order to even build their profits. And it's a somewhat of a facade.
Yeah, sometimes it's really hard to dig yourself out once you get in debt.
It is. It becomes a vicious cycle. Robbing Peter to pay Paul, I call it.
And it's stressful.
It's not how I roll,
Well, and so that's interesting, because was there ever a point where you were like, because it is hard to self-fund your business. So talk to me about that process of when you developed the first It's a 10 spray, the leave-in conditioner that you have, and how you were able to develop that, and then the process of growing that.
So actually, failure is how I developed it. My partner and I had a company. Our first company completely failed. We lost everything. Mm-hmm. And we were married at the time and got divorced.
Ooh.
And
was it because of that? The stress from that?
Okay. It had a lot to do with it, I'm sure. It was multiple things. But so we each had $40,000 each. And we decided to pick up the pieces and start with one closeout bottle. It's all we could afford. Mm-hmm. And so that's when we actually started It's a 10 Haircare together, and with the one bottle. Mm-hmm. And we just grew it and grew it and grew it. There was one time we took out a loan for $50,000 from a bank. I literally went to the bank. But yeah, it was paid back within probably 2 months. And
that's
since
great.
Then I've never had to actually, but the first company
where would you
was
get money?
Yes. So
where did you get
question.
the money?
So the very first company that we lost $500,000 on, we had gotten that through real estate. I love to flip real estate. I've done it since my 20s. So my real estate ventures have actually really helped fund my passions, my business dreams. And so, I've always kind of been a scrapper.
Creative,
right? Entrepreneurs are really scrappers. And my whole life, I've just kind of always flipped things and made money with them. Mm-hmm. I did it when I was young with cars. And then I did it, I was always flipping things. So that's really how I was able to get the money to fund the very first company that we failed in.
And that was another hair care company?
It was.
Okay.
Link. It was called Link,
yeah.
L-A-N-Q.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
She knows
that
all
was
your
9
products.
products. And we did too much too fast.
Okay.
And we had QC issues. We did everything a la carte. It was a nightmare. I mean, we just had a lot of issues.
That's a good lesson, though. Doing things too fast. Because
too fast and too fragmented. Like literally trying to do everything ourselves. And whereas what I learned from that is really to start partnering with a little bit of OneStop Shops that help you bring your visions to life. And there are so many of them out there today.
Clarify what you mean by one-stop shop.
A one-stop shop. So, it's basically part of your industry that may have multiple services under one roof. So rather than having somebody who you get the bottle from here and you get the cap from there and you get the label from here and you get the ingredients from there and the chemist puts the ingredients together and you hope they mix well and then they put them in a bottle with a cap that doesn't fit and a label that bubbles. Right? So that's what I'm talking about. So then we started partnering with vendors who have multiple services under one roof. Maybe it was they had the bottle, the label, the graphic designing, they had all of it on one package and then they had the fillers who had all that under one roof. So when you start limiting the amount of people that touch your end product, you're going to have a finer tuned product.
And it's probably less expensive when you're using all your services from one place and paying each vendor individually.
Exactly. A lot less contracts to negotiate. You know?
So, that's amazing. All right. So It's a 10. How did you even come up with the name? Because that's also a thing, right? Because when you have a product, you have to come up with something that is going to stick, that you love, and that's a hard thing to do even far as branding and marketing.
Right. So my partner's like, let's call it 10 and say it does 10 things. And I'm like, I love that. But truthfully, when I work with a chemist, I usually say to them, it's a 3, send it back. Or it's a 6. Like we need to do this, we need to do that. We need to, I'm constantly using that kind of gauge, the premium 10, to get towards to actually be able to create what it is that I envision within the products, the bottle. Listen, I've touched thousands of heads and thousands of products. I've been doing here 41 years. So I have visions with when I create products. And really, I always wondered why all the products in a hair care line weren't amazing. And now I know why. It's not easy to create a 10.
Right.
And so I really strive for that. And that's really became the name that I said, let's call it It's a 10, meaning it's the best. Obviously, the cliche phrase, people get that.
And you say turning down the noise on all of the input that you're getting and on all the feedback that you're getting and really trusting your instincts was really a critical part to your success.
It is. It's a major part, I think, to any success. And, as we were talking a little earlier when we had our conversation, I was referring to this term within our society, imposter syndrome, right? Yeah. It is such a key term today. And when people use it, I actually had to look it up because I didn't know what it meant. And then when I read that people actually have a doubt about what they actually deserve. That's mind-blowing to me because I don't hear that noise. My mind doesn't work like that. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs that are really probably within the top 5% of what they do have
they're
that
wired
mindset.
differently.
Yes,
they're wired very differently.
We don't listen to the doubters. We kind of have a vision. We go where they don't go. We're attracted to that.
Right.
That's really how, when I created this line 18 years ago, no one had bright colors and bottles. Right. I mean, I knew that I had 2 seconds to get someone's attention off the shelf. And then from there, I had to create a great fragrance. And I've really worked on the little things that actually captivate someone in the first few seconds you have to maybe get them engaged with your product line. So things like that, the experience that I had, I applied to my industry. I raised the bar. And listen, I was up against Procter & Gamble, L'Oreal, the largest brands in the world to this day, these massive, massive companies. And so many people are like, oh, yeah, right, you're going to make it. We had no marketing budgets. We didn't have any money. But I got the product into people's hands.
You literally gave it away at first.
We gave it away. We gave the largest sampling campaigns in the history of the beauty industry. We're known for it. When we started with Cosmoprof, who's a professional hair care distributor, 18 years ago, we wrote such large spiff checks that people bought homes with them. People bought a car and put their license plates. It's a 10 on the back of the cars that they were able to buy. We empowered people in a way that they never forgot us, and it just took off.
I think that as we've been talking, and you said, okay, between this age, I partied a lot, I did this, but that actually probably really did help you, grow your base. And I also think that people, besides the product being a 10, also are drawn to you, because I was telling you earlier, people do care a lot about the person behind the brand. And so I've always heard about you. You know what else I've always heard about? The yacht.
Now and how you turned it into a business.
Yes.
I've always heard about this yacht. Can you talk to me? Because people be like, oh my God, they have this yacht. Yeah.
I know.
What's it called? Your charter company?
When I first got her.
Talk to me about this yacht, because this is fascinating to me.
It's named She's a 10. And I literally had never owned a boat in my life, nor barely been on one, maybe in a lake somewhere, right? Not on an ocean for sure. And I just started searching for them and was looking. And I'm the kind of person, I like to find a diamond in the rough and shine her up. That's what I do with real estate. That's what I do with airplanes. That's what I do with boats. I call them boats, not yachts, So that's what I did. I actually purchased an older boat. I redid it. I owned it for almost 8 years and recently sold it. And I really fixed it up and enjoyed it thoroughly. And I'm one of the few self-made yacht owners, women yacht owners in the world. And really, it's just, you can, like anything, you can buy things at good deals. I ended up selling it for more than double I paid for it when I actually.
It's amazing.
Yeah. But I bought it really like it needed fixing up.
And those are very expensive to maintain. People always say, like, if you're going to have.
It's not the cost of the boat, it's the maintenance. Every year.
But you put it to work.
I put it to work. I would charter it, occasionally I would use it for business and things. So yeah, anytime you actually can turn something into a profit center by sharing it, by renting it out, by marketing it, it can be a business.
Did you always know that you were going to sell it when you bought it? Was that the plan, to fix it up and then at some point sell it?
Yeah.
That's what you do.
I knew it was going to be, I knew it was going to be a moneymaker eventually for me. I happened to stumble into a great situation and I nabbed it, and
amazing.
I knew it was going to be,
Now talk to me about, so you had one product. Now, how did you know it was time to expand? And how do you decide what to expand to?
Listen, I'm in the beauty industry. All we do is create. We're like, to me, the couture of hair. Just like fashion, it's important to keep innovation, creativity, and we really are the ones that inspire the rest of the beauty industry. The actual professional hair care brands inspire a lot of other retail brands and other, right? Same with fashion.
Right.
So I love to create. That's my favorite thing to do. So I always knew I planned on growing and expanding. Did I ever think I'd be here? Did I ever think that I would be this big? Did I ever think I'd be in 117 countries and a worldwide professional hair care brand? Probably not. But you know what? I love to create. It's my favorite thing to do. I continue to do it, and now have expanded into extensions and biotin makeup and hair tools and anything beauty. It's really about, I love to make people look and feel beautiful. I just do it in a different way now. I traded in my scissors for bottles.
Right. And how great that 10 goes right into extensions, too.
Yeah, it's EX10.
Yeah.
EX10.
How amazing is that? You couldn't have planned that any better.
Yeah, we have He's a 10.
I know.
I was going to say you started a men's line with Fat Joe, right?
Yeah, we started a men's hair color and beard color line.
Fat Joe was part of that, was he?
Yes,
Okay.
that's my brother.
Yes.
Yeah, he's family.
Which men definitely are right. And that is such a great a way to expand, because all the guys have been putting that on their beards. When Ray J comes up here, he's like, "Where's my brush? I need to color my beard."
I love it.
And even for for their hair too, they are definitely coloring their grays. That's a real thing.
And you know what?
They're so stressed about it. Should I? Shouldn't I?
But it's not even about just covering the grays now. Even young guys today are using it to richen up their hairline. Right. Even if they don't have gray, to thicken their beard line. It's becoming such an art within the barbering world.
It definitely is.
Yeah.
It's a great
and they have to use good products too. I just want to say, because sometimes I've seen people have allergic to, they use this thing called Beijing That's what everyone calls it, you know. And
that is the name
people
of it.
will have like allergic reactions to it, and I've seen some terrible reactions.
gosh.
But it does matter, I think, for people to understand what products you're actually using and putting on your face, you know, on your hairline, like, because a lot of these things, like, guys aren't as well versed, I feel
and
like.
not only that, unfortunately, the men haven't had the actual quality products that women have had for years. So they've been kind of, you know, subjected to these
gotta take
harsh
whatever is
chemicals.
available.
Yeah.
And so you know, like anything, it's all about raising the bar within that sector, and that's what we really set out to do. You know, Joe came to me and said, "Hey, let's make this." And at first, I'm like, "Listen, I don't know about." You know, it took me a few years to kind of warm to it. Plus, I was really busy. But you know what? I started seeing, like, when he was getting ridiculed on social media, every time he colored his beard, it came out a different color, and I'm like, "This is what happens in a salon."
It looks unnatural,
and you can see.
So I knew the quality wasn't there, and I knew I had my years of experience to raise that bar. You know, macadamia oil, aloe vera. I mean, we put natural ingredients in it. On top of it, it's Italian color. So I've literally put professional grade Italian color in a box to take home, or a barber to use. And the barbers are loving it. I was a little worried. Like, I was thinking, oh, a barber's going to use box color? Oh, they're all over it because it's quality. And we literally get handwritten notes where people, men are saying, and women barbers. I love that women are going into barbering. Just saying, I'm so glad that you finally made a quality product. You know, they were craving it. Yeah.
It's a 10.
Yeah.
He's a 10. He's a 10. And you guys, I have some He's a 10 products just randomly because there's like a...
pomade.
Yeah, the pomade.
Yeah,
like,
it's great, isn't it?
I'm like, it could just be for us too, you know?
Of course. Of course. But we made a coily collection, which we're expanding on. We're creating coily tight. So we're really expanding the repertoire of that. But my daughter is Nigerian and Puerto Rican. I'm Puerto Rican. And so really her, you know, her hair, which is down to here, down to her butt, and Nigerian hair, has really, really inspired me to really focus on that coily sector. But we launched that, I think, in 2013.
I remember that. I was grateful for that because I have I think a lot of people are trying to get back to their natural.
They are. They're embracing
you know, I got
it,
my natural curls
amazing.
Back too, so I'm happy. But I keep on putting my hair in braids because it's a lot of work.
I'm going to try it. I told her I'm keratin. I'm going to try this. Well, a lot of your products have keratin in them, right?
No. So, keratin is a protein. So that's the thing. We have protein enriched products, but I stay away from really harsh chemicals and keratin, actual straighteners and things like that. I'm a little bit a firm believer in the natural ingredients and natural processes. I just think that it's important to embrace your own natural beauty and try not to damage it. And try to figure out really how you can, you know, listen, my daughter will blow her hair straight and it'll take poor hairdresser 5 hours to do it.
And then in 30 seconds.
But you know, but the thing is she's learned the tools to touch it up and keep it straight, but then she'll also do the braids or she'll actually wear it coily. So it's nice to be able to
looking
change.
forward to all of it.
Yes.
I'm the person who's not going to spend more than 30 seconds on hair and makewp no matter what. No matter what.
Yeah, but honestly,
then you must be hiring people, honey, because you look amazing.
Yeah. She's got it together.
I only would dress up for Ange once a week.
Carolyn, I know some of these larger companies have tried to come to you and been like, listen, we would love to discuss, you know, some type of investment. Has that been something, have you always known, like, I want to keep it this way, or was that something that you've ever considered?
So in 2017, I bought my partner out and did become the only female-owned, Latina-owned brand, I think, for sure, of this size in the world. Right. That is something that I hold in high regard, something that I honestly, I don't want investors. I don't want partners. If someone were to come along and actually write me an insane check, I'd have to really
As
think
a business
about it.
person, really think about it.
I'd have to think about it because I also don't want someone to come along and kill the baby, so to speak. And it happens all the time in my industry. You see these big corporations buying up these entrepreneurial
That's what they do.
companies, and they bury them.
And
you
change
know?
the ingredients.
They want-
bury them. And so instead of looking to them to necessarily come and acquire me, I'm looking to become them. I'm looking to expand my repertoire of brands under one roof and actually create more and more and more massive companies. And so, I mean, Rewind to 10 will be just as big as It's a 10 one day, no doubt. So it's just a matter of really expanding on what I'm really good at. And just, that's the beauty of being an entrepreneur. We turn on a dime and we can just continue doing what we do really well. And that's what I want to do.
This is something I ask Angela all the time also. So you have your incredible businesses. Now you're doing the men's line. You have the yacht business. You have real estate businesses. How do you stay focused without getting frazzled, or just how do you run so many things successfully?
Yeah,
and give them their attention.
I'm not
they
always
need.
successful, first of all, and there are days when I have my failures. But honestly, it's really becoming an expert at prioritizing, because you can get hit with 50 things at once. So which one do you pick first?
Right.
That's the key to success. Which one do you pick first? And it's not easy.
You got to prioritize. Different days, different things do get prioritized.
Yes. And there are times, and listen, I have a family too. So, how do you balance that too as women? Right. I mean, we have a lot. We have to be our husbands. I mean, our husbands' wives. We have to be our children's mothers. We play a lot of roles. I have to be TT. Carolyn, TT Iris is my real name, Iris. So, I mean, you do. You have to really figure it out. And a lot of it is gut for me. A lot of it is gut.
You've spoken on this before, so I want to bring this up. So you had a child at 53?
I did 54.
You 54?
You were okay, we got to pause.
Yeah.
Blended mother, blended family of 5, and had a child at 54 years old. Everybody just full stop. Full stop.
I applaud that.
Latinas, we're like, I don't know, we're made to make babies. That's what we do, right?
Was that like a surprise when you found out? Or?
I mean, COVID came and things come with it. But it was, my husband and I are absolutely thrilled. And
good. That's amazing. Congratulations for that.
How different? Okay, as a mother, how different did it feel to carry a baby at 54? Was it like the same experience?
Not much, but you have to remember, I also was pregnant during COVID.
Right, so you were home.
I was chilling anyway. It wasn't like I had to, run around, and that helped, I'm sure. But honestly, everything went really, really smoothly for me. I didn't gain a ton of weight. I really took care of myself, and my body was, like I said, made for doing it. I think.
Natural childbirth?
Oh no, C-section. At that age, they won't let you have a.
They won't let you have natural childbirth.
No. Yeah. And my first child, I had at 40.
Right.
She was natural.
Yeah. They do. They've done studies. They say when you have babies like later, you end up living longer.
Yeah. No, I believe it. I'm going to be 120. Oh, no doubt.
Without question. When you have a child, all of a sudden you
and
get
I'm making sure of it
years
health-wise.
with you.
I stay on top of my health. It is the most important thing to me. I do have a 3-year-old. I'm almost 58 years old, and
they keep you young.
It's absolutely crucial to me.
Because people can be very judgmental about that too. Like I see people.
Oh, they're very judgmental. Yeah, I'm sure. And I just, like I said, I don't
turn down the noise. It never does anything.
Yeah, because you know what? They're not me. They don't live my life. They don't understand, my capabilities or our family's capabilities. Her siblings adore her. She's surrounded by so much love. No matter what, this child's going to just be fine in life, and everyone's got a different path, you know. So there's no cookie cutter answer to that at all.
And they're having a great life too, by the way. These children,
they are. It's a whole different world. It's a whole different world these children live today.
Yeah. It's a scarier world, too, though, with social media.
It's a lot scarier world.
There's a lot of things we didn't have to grow up with,
It
But we also think about how things are an advantage in that way, too, because I'm sure social media was helpful for your business, too.
Huge, especially from 2017 on.
Right.
When I was able to really get the helm of the company and really direct it in the way that I always envisioned and dreamed it to be. The company has doubled since then. So, it's absolutely crucial. Technology, AI, fully embrace it. Always loved technology, naturally. Kind of grew up around it anyway. So if you don't change, with the times, you will be a dinosaur like that's what happens, right? Turn in dinosaur. And what happened to them? So, I mean, it's really, really crucial to make sure that you're embracing even some things that are scary. A lot of people are afraid of AI, but we're already using it to rebuild websites, create imagery, create content. It is wonderful. I'm sorry to say, the people, the doubters.
Right.
I'm sorry to say.
I think if
the AI economy is here.
If you don't learn how to use it, you will definitely be left behind.
I see dollars disappearing, the banking system completely changing, going to Bitcoin and everything. I see all that happening. It's inevitable. I haven't been to a bank in I don't know how long.
Yeah, me neither.
And I got a lot of zeros. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? You would think I need to go to the bank.
But I'll tell you what, though, you got to be careful of these scammers and farcers too when it comes to AI.
That is
I think that's the scariest part of it.
I believe that getting the proper, like anything in business, getting the proper teams in place to actually protect you, to get all the securities, to get the triple verifications. I mean, I literally have a team of people overseeing all my companies, all the money's going in and out, the slightest little ding that we even have a suspicion of, we are on it. And I'm not saying I've had wire fraud. I've had things like that, but there are systems in place today that can help you navigate it.
Yeah, make sure you implement that when you have a business like that. And last question, how was it for you balancing, like, finding love again and running this business and having a family? You know, people always talk about how difficult it is to be able to balance all those things. What's your secret?
Well, first of all, my husband and I are both serial entrepreneurs. So when we met, we both kind of had that mentality, we were on the same plane. You know, he was my Ezer Kenegdo. That's the yin to your yang. He literally was very, very similar to me. So when we melded our worlds, it was a great fit. And we think alike. We move alike. Sometimes we'll wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and start talking. We'll talk business, but then we'll go into jokes because he has a great sense of humor and he'll get me laughing at 3 in the morning. But so really, it's also allowing time for each other. It's crucial. We've been together 10 years now. We've obviously have this, big family, everything from 3 to 23, our 5 kids. And, we navigate through a lot during the days. But there are those times when he's like, all right, come on, honey, it's date night. Let's go. And you know what? I am all for it.
Okay.
You obviously have to make sure you have your time alone and really make sure that the relationship is part of your priority as well.
And not talk about work at dinner all the time.
Yeah,
but I'm sure it happens.
Everything. Of course it does. But that's okay. We love what we do, but we also love each other. So we talk about our family. We talk about our dreams. We talk about, things we want to achieve, where we want to go, what we want to do. So, and how we want to build it and do it together.
You seem very comfortable unscripted.
Yes.
So.
No, it's real.
Yeah.
It's real. This is it. And I vowed I was never going to get married again.
See?
Vowed.
And then you found that's when it happened. You found your perfect 10.
For sure. That's right.
Okay.
I didn't think he was out there.
Well, I'm happy for you. And this is just amazing. Like, your story is fantastic. So thank you so much for taking the time to come and sit with us.
It's my pleasure.
It's a $10 billion valuation, $1 billion entrepreneur here who never even stopped to look over her shoulder. Really honored to have you here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And listen, we are all the way up.
Yes.
We are all the way up.
That's right.
Shout out to Fat Joe.
That's right.
All right, it's way up.
Thank you.
Happy Wealth Wednesdays.